Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got something really funny for you today, so you best buckle up. It looks like Xbox's very own Phil Spencer is saying that you can't even appreciate the true power of next-gen consoles yet. Oh yeah, and right there he says that you might not appreciate how much better next-gen games are until you can feel the improvement when it comes to 60 FPS. Oh yeah, and he actually says this as if 60 FPS hasn't been the industry standard for like over a decade now. So with that being said, let's get on with it, shall we? It says Xbox boss Phil Spencer has acknowledged that it's been challenging to demonstrate the true leap of the Xbox Series X. By the way, again, for the 1 millionth time, that is a really stupid name. Will provide over the Xbox One, but it appears that it could be changing once people are actually able to try out the system for themselves in longer gameplay sessions. In Reggie's new podcast, Spencer said that one of the most defining characteristics of next-gen games is how they feel faster with more stable frame rates. You haven't seen the true power of Xbox Series X yet, as it appears Microsoft is taking on the persona of a Dragon Ball Z villain is still gathering their energy. It's not possible to demonstrate this with videos, Spencer said, and with physical events cancelled or postponed due to Tour Corolla, Microsoft is facing a new dilemma in trying to communicate the appeal of faster frame rates. This is the new challenge, Spencer said, because for previous console transitions throughout history, the power of the new systems was immediately apparent with better graphics. Yes, that is pretty true. Every single new console generation has shown how powerful it is, first with its graphics, but the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen in recent years, we've kind of been, hitting the tippy top for, in terms of graphical fidelity and all that stuff. Now, I will say this, okay, like, we've all recently seen the, PlayStation 5 Unreal Engine, tech demo and all that stuff, and it looks really good, I gotta say, very beautifully made and all that. But the thing is, when it comes to consoles, and improving the graphics and all that stuff, I really don't think we're gonna be able to see like a huge gigantic leap in graphical improvement as we did from like the PS2 to PS3 and all that stuff, because in all honesty, when I'm looking at like a new graphical upgrades and all that stuff, I'm looking for things like making flesh and blood characters actually look like they're real instead of having them look like they're made out of rubber and all that stuff. Because if you actually have noticed, a lot of video games today, and of course this is not because of the developers themselves, this is because of the technology and all that stuff. A lot of game characters still look like they're made out of rubber or whatever the hell. And what's also pretty hilarious is that it says that it's not possible to demonstrate this with videos, really. Like, you're telling me that it's so hard to record a 60 FPS video and just show that until you, like, actually release the console? They're trying to sell you on 60 FPS, even though that has been the industry standard for, like, over a decade in the PC market and all that stuff. And didn't they say that the current gen of consoles, like the PS4 and the current Xbox, are gonna have constant 60 FPS? But anyway, I digress. We have a few quotes from a Spencer himself, and the first one reads, "One of the things I've talked about publicly, but it's hard to come across, is the way it feels to play a game on a box where frame rates are higher, frame rates are more stable," Spencer said. "The fluidity of it, showing that in video form is just impossible. How do you show how something feels?" Well, you can't really show how something feels, but you can sure show, how fluid the frame rate is, so I don't know why you're just not releasing some 60 FPS videos. The interviewer said, quote, "We're getting to the point where the immersion feel that you get through the fluidity and other things is now on par with the visual capabilities that we have. How do you share that with people in this kind of world?" Spencer then said he is optimistic about being able to put the Xbox Series X in front of consumers at some point in the future before launch to help them understand the appeal of the new system, but it's unlikely to happen soon due to the government restrictions around social distancing. Quote, "The feel relative to previous console generations will be something people remarked positively about," Spencer said. "The Xbox Series X is technically capable of delivering frame rates up to 120 FPS, but developers will ultimately get to decide what works best in terms of balance between visuals and frame rate." Just a little tidbit there, ladies and gentlemen. I highly doubt that the console is able to, get a 120 FPS. Also in the interview, Spencer said that he expects the Series X launch to go forward as planned this holiday. He said that his teams are doing an amazing job during the challenging environment. Quote, "We had another hardware interview, we did one this past week. Our supply chain, we feel good about the hardware side. It feels good to be able to get enough units. We're pretty committed to a worldwide launch, which regretfully we didn't do with the Xbox One, Spencer said. The software from the Series X is also, quote, making good progress. He added that the game's development is moving along well, but with some interruption. Well, that's pretty much to be expected with the current BS that's going on right now about the pandemic and all that stuff. But hopefully developers will be able to work as best as they can under these conditions. Games are making good progress. The collaborative nature of game development and the scale of development today, any of the functions that require physical collaboration, things like motion capture, things like symphonic capture, those kinds of things, some they're put on hold. On the game side, things that are pre-content complete might be impacted more than things that are post-content complete. I don't know what the hell he's got to try to say with that. This is just some word spaghetti right here, like what the hell. The Toyota Corolla crisis led to changes in Microsoft's policies. For example, Spencer pointed out that third-party developers are now allowed to take their Xbox Series X development kits home. This would not have been allowed under previous circumstances. Finally, Spencer also spoke about rebuilding the process with the Xbox team. The Xbox One launch in 2013 was marred by controversial policies and a $100 higher price than the rival PS4. This contributed to Microsoft coming up short against Sony in the previous console generation. Spencer took over as head of Xbox in 2015, and things might go on a different path for the Xbox Series X launch this year. Yeah, the whole marred by controversial policies is a huge understatement. Yeah, Don Matchuk completely ruined the hell out of the Xbox One. Like, really, it took the Microsoft so damn hard to actually recover from that. It's just unbelievable. Honestly, I really do wonder who the hell even, thought it was a good idea to hire the guy. Like, whoever it is, I hope they're fired, because honestly, they really don't know what the hell they're doing. He also said, quote, the team had lost trust in leadership, the leadership capability, and the commitment of the company to this category on our decision-making. Spencer recalled, rebuilding that inside the company was important, and it takes time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. All I can say to this is the whole interview is basically nothing more than a gigantic Nothingburger. It's really hilarious that Phil Spencer actually touts 60 FPS as if it's some sort of new thing that no one has ever done. Anyway, everyone, that about wraps it up for this day. Honestly, this interview was a huge fail. Basically, nothing new has been said or discovered in this piece. So yeah. Anyway, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the little bell icon, and if you wish to support me, the link is in the description below. And as always, I'm Cyber Rampage, and I'll be seeing you guys and gals in the next video.